So, uh, have you ever felt like you're constantly playing whack-a-mole in the dark when it comes to cybersecurity? That, relentless feeling of always being one step behind,
Right.
reacting to the latest threat after it's already landed.
Oh, absolutely.
Just feels like your security team is perpetually in crisis mode, right?
Oh,
Rushing to fix problems, leaving you in this really stressful, kind of endless game of catch-up.
yeah, indeed. And for the longest time, the very nature of cybersecurity has, well, it's been inherently reactive. We've built these robust walls, sure, and developed pretty sophisticated tools to detect breaches, but the moment a threat gets through, it becomes this all-out scramble to contain the damage.
Right.
And the fundamental challenge, really, is that attackers are becoming exponentially smarter and faster, more creative, too, using new tech themselves. Traditional reactive security tools, they just can't keep pace, not with that kind of dynamic threat landscape.
Okay, so what if we told you there's maybe a new paradigm emerging? One that promises to fundamentally change that, well, that brutal game. Our mission for this deep dive is to explore exactly that. Today, we're going to unpack some fascinating insights from presecurity.ai, the era of predictive defense. We'll delve into how this innovative approach aims to help you stop problems before they even begin. We're really talking about a profound shift here from reactive to truly predictive defense.
Precisely. The core transformation here is it's profound. It's no longer just about finding threats once they're already inside your perimeter or, actively in progress. The goal, finally, is to prevent them from ever materializing. This is about being not just one, but several steps ahead of attackers. Like the material emphasizes, why keep chasing hackers when you can finally start, well, outmaneuvering them proactively?
And it sounds like it's not just about one shiny new tool either.
No, not at all.
Presecurity.ai is presented as more of a holistic method, right? Built to tackle some of the biggest pain points for security teams today. The spiraling costs, the chronic difficulty finding and keeping skilled people, all that slow manual work that just saps resources.
Exactly.
The entire proposition seems to be making security operations faster, easier, and dramatically more powerful. If reactive security is like being a firefighter, constantly putting out blazes,
Mm-hmm.
then predictive defense is maybe more like being an urban planner, someone who can anticipate where the next fires might start.
That's a great analogy, actually, because it sets the stage for the different, let's call them layers, of foresight and automation that presecurity.ai seems to bring. So one of the foundational pieces they talk about is AI SIME.
Okay, SIEM security information and event management. That usually helps pull together all the security logs, right?
Right, from all your disparate systems. But this AI-powered version aims to simplify that overwhelming data analysis, even further. Just think about the sheer volume of telemetry data, logs from firewalls, endpoints, cloud infrastructure, identity systems. It's a deluge.
It's overwhelming.
Totally. So AI SIME, it's explained, uses advanced machine learning to ingest all that, normalize it, correlate these disparate data sets, and then it surfaces the critical anomalies and attack chains that would typically just get lost in the noise or, require immense manual effort to uncover.
Hmm.
It's about turning big data into truly actionable threat intelligence and doing it at scale.
Okay, so making sense of the chaos, turning raw data into actionable insights without all that manual heavy lifting, that level of clarity for analysts just drowning in alerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds transformative. But beyond just understanding the current state, what about actively hunting for threats? The ones that are intentionally hidden or disguised? Does presecurity.ai offer tools that go beyond just making sense of data to actively anticipating those stealth attacks?
Indeed, it does. That's where they bring in generative XDR, extended detection and response.
Okay, XDR usually integrates data across endpoints, networks, cloud. What's the generative part mean here?
Right, so that generative aspect means it goes beyond just reacting to known threats. Think of it less like a guard checking for known faces, and more like an AI that can, well, imagine new attack
We
patterns.
imagine. How so?
Well, unlike traditional XDRs, which largely rely on known signatures or observed behaviors, this generative capability implies using sophisticated AI models, maybe even large language models. The goal is to anticipate and proactively identify completely novel zero-day threats. It does this by predicting what a new attack might look like, based on subtle environmental anomalies.
Wow.
Yeah, it's about finding threats before they even have a name.
Okay, that 24/7 vigilance is absolutely critical. Attackers definitely don't stick to business hours. But does the source talk about how these AI systems manage to avoid alert fatigue or, the high false positive rates that often plague human analysts, even with good tools?
It does, implicitly anyway. The focus seems to be very much on precision and reducing noise. And that's where the real power of their predictive analytics comes in. This is highlighted as presecurity.ai's perhaps biggest advantage.
Okay.
So while AI SIM brings clarity and generative XDR proactively hunts, the predictive analytics component is where it helps you see what attackers might do next.
Okay, so AI SIM streamlines data, generative XDR hunts hidden threats, and then this predictive analytics piece.
I'm trying to wrap my head around seeing into the future. How does that actually manifest for a security team? Is it like a probability map or more like specific attack scenarios being laid out? Can you give us maybe a more granular example? What does that seeing into the future actually look like day to day for a security team using this?
Sure, certainly. Imagine a system not just alerting you to, say, a suspicious login. Okay, that's standard. But predicting that this specific user behavior, combined with recent intel about a new phishing campaign targeting your industry.
And a known vulnerability in your CRM system indicates a high probability of an account takeover attempt, one that's likely leading to data exfiltration within, say, the next 72 hours.
Wow, okay. That's specific.
Exactly. It's about predicting the entire attack chain before it unfolds. That allows your team to preemptively patch or block or isolate before any damage actually occurs. The material suggests it leverages advanced graph databases and behavioral AI to model the pathways attackers are likely to exploit, identifying vulnerabilities not just in isolated systems, but across the entire interconnected network. That level of foresight, it truly changes the game.
That is a profound shift.
Yeah.
Because the attacks themselves are also evolving so rapidly, right? With advanced AI now being readily used by the bad guys, too, our defenses really need to keep pace with that adversarial intelligence.
You've hit on a critical point there. That's precisely where GenAI EDR comes into the picture. Traditional endpoint detection and response software, EDR, it can really struggle against these new AI-powered attacks that constantly morph and change tactics. So this GenAI EDR, it uses smart, adaptive AI to fight back against those modern, agile threats. It's designed to change and adapt itself to keep systems safe. Think of it as an agile, AI-powered bodyguard for your digital endpoints against these highly intelligent, evolving threats.
This sounds incredibly powerful, almost like a kind of, comprehensive solution for the big players. But what about businesses that might not have those huge enterprise-level budgets or massive security teams? Does this predictive approach scale down for them? Or is it really reserved for the Fortune 500s?
That's a huge point, you're right, because often smaller businesses are just as vulnerable, maybe even more so, precisely because they lack those dedicated resources. And the material specifically mentions Minisoc. Yeah, which is designed to bring powerful security to smaller businesses. For SMBs who really can't afford a full-fledged, 247 security operations center, Minisoc seems to leverage the same core AI and predictive engines as the enterprise solution. But it's likely in a pre-configured, maybe cloud-native and highly automated package. It abstracts away a lot of the operational complexity, providing a level of defense that was previously out of reach for them without needing that dedicated team of analysts working around the clock.
That's fascinating. But for Minisus, does the source elaborate on how they managed to provide that top-level security at an affordable price? Like, are there compromises or specific requirements for smaller businesses to really unlock this power? Or is it genuinely a kind of plug-and-play revolution for them?
Well, it definitely highlights the affordability, but the material doesn't dive too deep into the, say, architectural specifics of the cost savings, beyond pointing to the automation. However, a key insight they stress is that presecurity.ai is explicitly made to work with the tools you already use.
Yeah.
So you don't have to rip out your current systems. It's designed to connect to your existing security infrastructure, your firewalls, your endpoint protection, whatever you have. And the goal is to make that infrastructure much more powerful and effective.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, that reduces friction for adoption quite a bit and lets you leverage existing investments. That's a significant factor in making it accessible for, well, varied organizations.
Okay, so let's try and tie this all together. We've talked about this dramatic shift, moving from chasing hackers to proactively predicting and ideally preventing attacks. And we've touched on the different layers of intelligence. Presecurity.ai brings the AICM, generative XDR, predictive analytics, GenAI EDR, and Minisoc for smaller orgs. It really sounds like this approach aims to fundamentally change the core question in cybersecurity, moving from how fast can we fix this after it happens to can we stop this from happening at all?
That's precisely the redefinition of security strategy highlighted in the source material,
Mm.
exactly. And with presecurity.ai, the answer to that question, it boldly claims, is a clear yes.
A clear yes.
Yeah. This isn't presented as just an incremental improvement on existing tools. It's framed as being about building truly smart, preventative security teams. Teams that are always ahead of the curve. Ultimately, transforming security from being seen as just a cost center into potentially a real business enabler.
Which leaves us with a fascinating thought for you, the listener, to ponder. If we can truly predict and prevent cyber attacks on a large scale, what does this actually mean for the future? The future of digital innovation, the risks businesses are willing to take. What new possibilities really open up when the answer to stopping attacks before they happen is, potentially, a clear yes.